You don't wait for proof. You are the proof. And that is exactly what I'm going to teach you today. Welcome back to the Vibe Heal. I am Juliana, and if you are new here, I want you to know something before we go any further. This is not a self-help channel. This is not a manifestation tips channel. This is not a here are the 5 steps channel. This is a transmission, and the difference is everything. Because tips change your mind, transmissions change your field. So if you felt something when you saw this video, that was your nervous system already recognizing something that your body was knowing before your brain could catch up. That is the law of assumption. And everything is working for you before you even hit play. Let's go and glow. Okay? Naval Goddard said it, but I want you to say it and feel it in your body. The law of assumption says that your reality is a direct reflection of what you believe at your subconscious identity level. Not what you want, not what you're working toward, what you actually assume. The thing running in the background, the belief so deep you forgot it was even there. That is the one shaping everything. And here's what nobody talks about. The assumption is not in your thoughts. The assumption is in your body. It lives in the way you walk into a room. It lives in the pause you take before the price. It lives in whether you finish your sentence or trail off at the end. It lives in the gap between who you are inside and who you actually step out into life as. Not the one you're affirming, the one your nervous system believes. And this is why I do what I do. Not because I have a framework, because I can see the gap in a second before you even finish your first sentence. That is a gift. That is a transmission. And that is why stepping into my field changes something. Not because I taught you something, because something got revealed. Now let's get into it. How we live this. And I want to be really honest now. The Vibe Heal is not a business I'm building. The Vibe Heal is a reality I assumed first. Before the clients, before the revenue, before the recognition, I decided in my body that this movement was already real, that the women who needed this were already on their way, that the containers were creating and were being filled, that the legacy I am building was already in motion. And I want to be clear about something else. That is not delusion. That is not toxic positivity. That is not bypassing. That is the most disciplined thing I have ever done, because it is easy to assume limitation. It is easy to assume scarcity. It is easy to assume that you need proof before it can actually truly show up. But extraordinary intention is the art to assume and receive. And I practice it every single day, not as meditation, as a way of actually being. When I create content, I am creating not to convince anyone. I am creating from the idea that I already know that the movement exists, where the impact is already happening. That is completely different frequency. You can feel the difference when you feel it, even if you don't know why. Let's get into the psychology behind it. Let me go a little bit deeper here, because I want you to understand this is not just a spiritual law, but psychology as a neuroscience. As the architecture of identity, your brain is a prediction machine. It is not recording reality, it is anticipating it based on what it has been trained to expect. So when your nervous system has been trained to expect smallness, to expect being overlooked, to expect working hard and not breaking through, it will find evidence of that everywhere. Not because the universe is against you, but because reticular activate is filtering through you. This is not too woo. This is how the brain works. And this is why mindset work alone doesn't work, because you can't think a new thought and still have an old nervous system. The thought is surface. The assumption is structural. So what I do, what the Vibe Heal does, is we work at a structural level. We're not replacing thoughts. We are rebuilding the architecture of identity. We are rewiring what the body assumes to be safe. What the body assumes is possible, what the body assumes it deserves. And when that shifts, when the assumptions at the somatic level changes, the outer reality shifts too. That is not magic. That is the law. What happens when you step into my field? I want to talk about something that I am always watching happen. Something I've witnessed again and again, and something I do not take for granted for even 1 second. When a woman steps into my field, something happens. Not because I said the right thing, not because I gave her the right tool. Not even because she did the work. Something happens because of the frequency I'm holding. And I want you to understand what I mean by that. Not in a vague, narcissistic, metaphorical way, in a real, lived, embodied way. When I'm in a session, I am not in a healer mode. I'm in my body. I'm in my knowing. I am already living the version of reality where this woman is already who she came here to be and become. And that assumption field is what mirrors certainty and creates a field. And her nervous system responds to that field. Before she can even consciously process it, before she can analyze it, before she can decide whether to trust it, something in her already knows. And that knowing is where the shift begins. This is why I say I am the environment where expansion happens, not the teacher, not the guide, the environment. Because in my field, her most expanded version of herself is assumed reality, and she gets to inhabit it, maybe for the first time. And something about having inhabited it once, even for an hour, changes the baseline. The nervous system now has a reference point, a somatic memory of what that version of her feels like, and it can find its way back. That is on purpose. That is with intention. That is a gift I came here to give. Building a legacy, what this moment is actually for. You are building your own legacy, and I want you to choose yourself every single time, because I am not just building the vibe heal for me. I mean, it serves me deeply. The work lights me up in a way nothing else ever has. This is the thing I was made for, but I am building this for my sons, for Billy and Gio, so they grow up watching their mother live the assumption, so they know in their bodies what it looks like when a woman decides she is the movement, not someday, now. I am building this for my clients, the women who have done all the things and still feel the gap. The ones who know what to do and cannot make themselves do it. The ones who are the best kept secret and they're tired of it. I see you. I was built to see you. I am here. I am building this for the woman who will come after, the ones who will find this channel years from now and feel something shift before I even finish my first sentence. Because this is what the transmission does. And I am building this for something even bigger than I can fully name yet. The more beautiful world, a world where women can trust themselves completely and the ripple goes on and on into their families, into their community, into the world. That is the assumption I am living right now, every day, in every piece of content, in every session, in every word I speak into this field. We are building together. The Vibe Heal is not a brand, it is a becoming, and you are already part of it or you wouldn't be here. If this landed for you, I want to know. Leave me a comment. Tell me the moment, the sentence where something shifted. And if you are ready to step into my field,